Don't, and don't call me if you do.
Can you hit the red mark?
It's messy.
Well, but it doesn't show up.
Messy.
Index or whatever it is. Oh, that one's frustrating.
That's the thing.
It's not on the board portal.
He is
Is
usually.
that what it is?
I said, he doesn't show up for you. And you know,
It should be.
I said, you just, why are
It
you
didn't
doing
download at all.
We can put a packet too with this video.
I said, I don't care. If you know,
Good morning, everyone. Need to call the meeting to order, so if everyone please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. As usual, sound your cell phone, just settle, if you do a roll call.
Mayor Plummer,
Here.
Commissioner Brooks.
Here.
Commissioner Fields,
here,
Commissioner Gray,
Here.
Commissioner Galbraith.
Here.
We have a quorum and ready for the transaction of business.
Sound over, Mr. Belcher.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate that. Welcome, everyone. Good morning. Item number 4A on your agenda is approval of the minutes of regular meeting dated November 25th of 2025. Is there any additions or corrections?
Make a motion to approve.
So, Mayor, motion by the mayor, second by Commissioner Brooks. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 4B on the agenda, approval of the meeting minutes for the special meeting, the joint city-county meeting of November 17th, 2025. Any additions or corrections? Comments? The motion? Motion by Commissioner Brooks, who have a second?
I'll second.
Motion by, second by Commissioner Galbraith. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, 5A on your agenda, actually 5, we can take all of these in a block if, unless there's anyone that would like to discuss any of the items. Any member of the commission like to raise any of the items up for discussion?
No.
Got a couple of appointments and new hires. We welcome those new hires on board. We're working hard to fill those positions and vacant positions in the front office and welcome those new hires aboard. So if there's no board discussion, we'll entertain a motion.
So,
Motion by the mayor.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Fields. If there's any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. All right. Item number 6 on your agenda. 6A, actually, we can get some discussion going. Brian, do you want to talk about the order first and then we
Yeah.
get it?
Let me tell you what G Davis, well, what I've done here, which is what we've done before. So when we had the most recent new and improved version of the Joint Parks and Recreation Board, I think it was 2018, if memory serves right. We adopted that, and then we had what the interlocal agreement called for then was that there'd be a separate agreement, which we did as a lease of the parks to the joint board. So the county attorney took the initial shot at writing that, so we worked on it together. So there's a lease between the city, the board, and the county, the board for our parks. As I was looking at that through the discussions last couple of months, we realized that was a 4-year term and we adopted it, so it's expired. And like we do in interlocal things become perpetual, even though they had that on there. So we need to renew that lease. And as I was writing this, I recall one of you all telling me that one of these parks has a different name, but for the life of me, I could not find that. So correct me and I can fix the order in the lease. So
Morgan Place.
Was it Morgan Place, Mike? I think we get off.
So it's Morgan Place instead of,
Garrett Clark Park,
Instead of Claysville, right?
instead of Claysville.
we're just calling it Morgan Place. instead of place. Okay, well, I'll correct that.
It's an easy fix. We were talking about that last night.
Yeah, and I just could not, for the life of me, remember which one, or the name. So this, so we got the lease, which renews the lease of all of the city parks to the joint board, and then also addresses the county's request to put dedicated designated portions of Millersburg Road Park into that. That's all authorized under the interlocal, where it says other properties can be provided to the board by either entity as is appropriately determined by that entity. So don't need an amendment to the interlocal, thank goodness, because then that has to go to Frankfurt to be signed by DOG. And then, so I think all of that's authorized under that. So this municipal order renews the lease and recognizes that when the county renews the lease, it's going to also include certain portions of Millersburg Road Park. So we've got the order that accomplishes that. I put the new lease in, I'll obviously fix the name of Morgan Place in that. And I put the interlocal here in the packet. So with that, if you don't have a motion in a second, you can discuss.
So
No,
Can we get a motion? We'll get some discussion. Well, if we get a motion in a second, then we can
Okay.
discuss, because I wanted to talk about
Okay.
the budget. So, we have a motion by Commissioner Brooks. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
A second by the mayor. Discussion. So Commissioner Fields?
I'm not pleased with the fact that we're going to add the Millersburg Road Park right now. We should have had this discussion in January and talked about it throughout the year. Right now, it feels like this is a rush job, and usually with rush jobs, somebody in the future is gonna have to correct some mistakes that were overlooked or put in at the last minute. I'm not sure that we have the money to do this. And we have not really, as a group, talked about the finances. We definitely have not talked about personnel for the whole system, not just one part. So I'm not pleased with adding the Millersburg Road Park. I know some people probably will not agree with me on this, but I don't like the fact that this is rushed, that this is sort of a last minute, you gotta hurry up and do this. And I think we are biting off more than we can chew at this time, because I just don't think we have all the facts before us, and we as a group have not sat down and talked about this in detail.
Plus the fact that, we don't have a director. I mean, I think had we had a director and things of that nature, I think we'd be ready to. If we had a director and somebody in place that could take over the whole situation, I think we'd be in a lot better situation. I don't think we're just ready to take the whole thing on.
Do you all have the worksheet that Brad and I can kind of talk about this through? So, because the issue of the money has been, we talked about the workshop with the county, the joint city-county meeting of the Parks Board discussed, and then again with the county. So currently, if you all look at that,
Are we on page 49 or 51?
I'm not sure.
51.
The worksheet that we put in the packet, I just wanted to break those. Again, Commissioner Fields, your point is well taken. I think from the Parks Board, and I don't want to speak for Wallace, but this discussion came up in the summer and then ultimately into the fall and throughout the course of the.
It's been at least a year
So-
talking about the director's position.
Right, and the sense of urgency, of course, here as of late has been the baseball. What's going to transpire for the Little League baseball in the spring. So, to some degree, it has been rushed. However, there has been several meetings to discuss. I wanted to, again, and Brad and I talked about this earlier, and wanted to give you all a breakdown about where the funds, right now, I would point you to the 193,925. That's essentially what has been budgeted for this year. And I think the baseball was backed out of that figure. Brad, is that correct? For this past year? Forgive me, I wasn't here, but I think when we talked.
When we did the budget for Parks and Rec, it's not that we necessarily backed out the baseball, but we call it youth and adult programs. So for fiscal year 26, within the Parks and Rec joint budget, there's $40,000 in the budget for youth and adult programs, which that would pretty much cover the youth baseball. Fiscal year 24, that amount was like $60,000. And that I think was anticipated for, help funding baseball, and then also a $20,000 contribution to the YMCA for soccer. And so that's been about the maximum amount for, program baseball has been 60,000. In 2025 budget, that's when, we started putting in the program director for salaries and wages, and then trying to cut out the youth and adult program amount. I think we cut it down to 25,000, but as we know, as far as on the length of that history, it's the program director's never been approved through the fiscal court. So that position was basically eliminated out of the budget in 2025, and then there was some increasing in funding to help cover the baseball shortfall from that 25,000 in that fiscal year. So, there is 40,000 in the budget for Parks and Recs for youth and adult programs is what the line item is.
Of the 193?
Yes, of the 193.
193, okay. So that number is currently, and if you, again, look at on a monthly basis, the 16,160 is what we per month. So if we take, and again, based on the discussion with the joint meeting and then the follow-up discussion with the judge, and using their presentation, plus Brad and I Brad added the, because I think the judge's figures didn't include the fringe. And so if you look at that and add that in, I would point you to the 248,926, which would be potentially, and again, this is all not going to happen immediately, potentially the city's portion, and again, the county's portion. So the 250 essentially per entity, per government, city and county is what we're looking at. Again, based on the judge's figures, what he presented at the joint meeting, we looked at the fringe for the 1.5, the director plus the part time.
So I know at the presentation at the joint meeting, I think they just basically had a, director's position in there, and then maybe an extra person for maintenance and grounds. I've kind of gone through and looked at some of the other, park programs that are out there, and noticed that a lot of people have a director, they have an admin person, probably some of them have 3 to 4 grounds people, help maintaining parks and those kind of things. So what I basically did was took KLC's salary averages, and said, okay, if the Parks and Recs through the fiscal court does hire parks director, that this is pretty much an estimate of where we would be. So that first column there, you got parks director would be right around 110,000 in there. And I think that would probably be the initial thing that would happen, is obviously trying to get a parks director hired. So looking at this, potential county and city splitting that 110,000, but I think eventually you're gonna have to build up to that 248 to maintain, healthy parks and that type of thing. And that's just salaries and wages. That's not any.
But you remember at that meeting, the judge said that the director would be hired to work at the new park only. No, that's a no.
I think that's
cannot
usually a
be.
clarification.
So that is a very good point. Actually, I brought that up with the judge just last night, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
I, took his spreadsheet. This is what he was presented, and I clarified, Brian, and we understand it's going to be a county hire. They're going to go through the county, but that he indicated that person or those employees would be they would answer to the Parks Board, so they would be under the directive of the Parks Board, like Judy and the other. So I did point blank ask him, because I do believe that would be a hard stop for the city, if it was a direct, just solely under the direction of the county. So whether it be a county employee, he did indicate that they would answer to the Parks Board or be under the direction of the Parks.
So if a director is hired, what is Judy's position gonna be? What is her title? What is,
So she's a facility, from what I understand, she's a facilities and maintenance
okay,
and grounds, from what I understand, and historically, that has been her position, and Wallace can add to this. So, again, the director per se would be a program director for predominantly the new park.
The new park.
So, any part-times.
no, that can't be. That's my opinion.
Sure.
If somebody say something,
But I did ask, I wanted you to know that I did ask, and I did want to try to clarify that with the judge, that
I just want to make sure I wrote this right. The intent of the county is it's only the part of the park that's being used, the courts, the field.
Yes,
It's not the
it's
whole,
not the whole
you
park.
just said putting the whole thing. I just want to make sure
Right.
I understood you.
You're right.
It's not the whole
No.
couple hundred acres. It's just
It's
what's
just
being used, what's already been developed.
what's been developed.
Yeah, okay.
the multi-use courts and the paddocks, I guess, is that what they're.
Well, yeah,
The fields,
paddock.
yeah.
I'll just say, I feel like we're going into this with our arm up behind our back being pushed
Mhm.
pretty
I
tightly.
so too.
But also, when I think about our floodplain baseball fields, as opposed to these beautiful new fields out there, I think about the kids and the fact that those fields are there. If it rains this morning, you're still gonna be able to play tonight because of the turf, and, it's still gonna be a beautiful new park that.
Here's the problem. It's not just about baseball. It is a Parks and Recreation Board that is supposed to develop programs and activities for the whole of the community. We're stuck on baseball. I love baseball.
I'm not just saying baseball, there's
But-
soccer fields, there's.
but that's not what we have-
it's multi-
Highlighted,
Well, I understand. Hey, you got your opinion, I got mine.
Okay.
It's just a beautiful new park that
okay?
I hate to tell our children, because you're city children, that you can't use these beautiful new fields when it comes to
It's-
soccer and
They're
baseball.
not developed right now to do anything. You just can have lane, you don't have a seat, you don't have any lights, you don't have anything, and you keep pushing they're gonna start in March and April. We don't have anything except the land out there.
Well, if they're not ready this season, they'll be ready next season. I mean.
That's not what is being said.
Well, I don't know when it's going to be complete. That's not my part.
Well, I think the intent is for it to be ready for this season. I think that's what the judge indicated both at the joint city and county meeting, both joint. We've had two joint city county meetings. Parks Board discussed it twice. That said, the upfront cost, the judge indicated, I think that the 78,000, they're going to go ahead and pay that with the existing ARC funds that they have. So to address the seating, the bleachers, or the, all the equipment for the baseball. Yeah, it's not just about baseball. It is about a long-term program. And this is potentially what the city could, the investment. But ultimately, it's for the whole of the, not just about the baseball, it's for the whole program. And again, all the questions that the cost, try to address that, the personnel, yes, the judge indicated that they would answer to the Parks Board. Now, again, it's the pleasure of the commission, and I've tried to answer again any concern and question that's been raised, and I think we tried, at least staff has done, its due diligence in terms of taking those questions back to the judge.
Well, again,
Ultimately,
and I think another thing is getting kids to that park, especially kids who are riding bicycles and things of that nature. I mean, getting them to the park. I mean, I wouldn't want my kid on the Millsburg Road on a bicycle or even walking. Again, we'd have the director, and I think we're being pushed into something that, real quickly. And I think had we had all these discussions earlier as opposed to November or last of October, we'd be ready to make a more, decision to move forward.
Say something, Stan.
My first thought,
Did this
How many-
clarify about the, as far as the potential costs, Stan? I know we had talked about.
Yeah, because I had looked at, and again, I guess for anybody that's in here to, to take a look at that report that's up there, each one, the city and the county both, well, I'm just gonna kind of summarize some of this. On E911, both the city and the county every month give, or funded $40,251 for E911. For EMS, we fund $57,000 a month. EDA is $12,629.75. And right now, P&Z's $14,682. And Parks and Rec is currently what, 16,160 or something like that. But we do that every month, 12 months a year. So when we think about this, it's a big decision on our part, because again, when you add up all those numbers there, pretty quick, it adds up pretty damn quick. How many FTEs do they have, full-time equivalents do they have right now?
I think just one.
One.
Judy.
Judy is the only, who actually
I think there's
mows.
one more.
There might be two.
There's two.
There's two,
Is there two?
two and one half.
Two fulls or two halves,
Two
two
full-time.
halves make a whole or something.
Two full-time is what I'm hearing.
But one of
That's two.
them's in his 60s and another is in his 80s. So they will probably be retiring soon.
Well,
You're right, they could. But anyway,
and then one part-time, Stan, sorry.
one part-time,
Season.
season, so, but there's two full-time now, plus, let's say a half, so it would be about 2.5.
Yeah.
FTE, okay.
Can I have some clarity from the manager on what the judge said? Did he say exactly that this director would be in charge of the other parks, or did he just say the director?
He would
reports to
answer, he
But that doesn't-
indicated that the
That doesn't,
new staff would be at the direction of the Parks Board.
what does that mean?
Well, again, they would direct those activities of the, staff.
It
would
means
be at
there's
the
the
direction of the
supervisor,
Parks
just like in the planning commission, that's who they report to, and it's more of the day-to-day reporting structure. So the board would direct what the duties of the director is.
Well, I have a question. Has that been decided what they're going to be over?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we want to know. What are they going to be over? Is it just the Millersburg Park or all the parks within the city too?
And what's the park
Indication.
for this thing?
Let's get the discussion with the city commission, and then is there any other discussion that the city commission would like?
How much additional money would it cost?
Well, I think right now, at this point in time, none, right? Because the equipment has been indicated that the county will purchase all the equipment needed for startup, which is, let's just say around 100,000. They have extra ARPA funds on that construction. I initially say there's no additional cost in that, because what I would recommend is, Parks and Rec right now does not have a budget for a program director. So if that's the route that they're gonna go, then that budget has to be amended and then brought back to both city and county for approval.
We were told at those meetings that they already had the equipment, that it was being stored in somebody's barn.
No,
Yeah,
I don't think.
yeah,
Well, there was
it's
some-
being stored in somebody's barn. And I'm saying, what equipment?
So there's some turf maintenance, I do believe there was a tractor and the
Okay,
turf maintenance, the
Kind of like
where they drag behind and do the turf maintenance. I think that was what they did.
Yes, I thought 78 included, let's say, bleachers and some other, I say, not ancillary, don't get me
The
wrong. it's all
mounds and the
expensive.
paint supplies, all the things that they
Yes.
need for the spring season.
I mean, I would say that, initially, as you're looking at this, as I said, Parks and Recs does not have a program director in their budget. So they're gonna have to come back with a budget amendment for both city and county to approve once they decide to move forward with that position. And then, I would even recommend, and we did this with planning and zoning a couple years ago, that, until that program director is in place, then there's no increase in funding from the city. So basically, you're maintaining the 193,000 contribution on a monthly basis until they can get a program director hired. And that, may not be till May, June.
Well into the new.
I mean, it's been a slow process.
I don't agree with your comments, but we'll let it go at that.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I mean, obviously, we can, the order before us adds the renewal rates for the interlocal, as Brian indicated, as well as adds the Millersburg Road property into the interlocal based on what the county had voted to do. You can always, again, if you want to talk about, revenue or funding, at a later date.
All that comes separately.
Once that goes through the Parks Board, that would have to come back to the
That would
City
come separate,
Commission.
yes, because of the.
And then discuss it further at that point. And then, see what the new budget brings. Does that answer your question there about how much potentially?
Right now, it's zero.
Correct.
This fiscal year.
So this fiscal year, this would be moving forward to add the property and then,
But there's no guarantee again about the director and the other amenities that come with,
that would go through the Parks Board.
that would come through, and then we'd have to come back to the,
City,
city
yeah.
and county. For approval.
Yeah, but right now, based upon the numbers that Brad and you all worked through,
It's gonna be.
it would be an additional $10,410, in theory, $10,410 a month. It would start in basically next fiscal year.
Well, I would think you take the Parks Director at, I'll just round up to 110,000, so that's 55,000 each entity, which, right around 6,000, 6,500? Or no, less than that, sorry.
About
Yeah,
5,000 a month.
about 5,000 potentially. Yeah, but I mean, I wanted to put these costs in here because what I've looked at from other parks around the state is I see park, administrator, multiple grounds and maintenance people, but I wanted to put those costs in there just so you do have, Sharon, so you do have that really extended cost that may start hitting in fiscal year 27, may start hitting in fiscal year 28. But I would think that as you kind of move forward, maybe February, March, there's a parks director that actually gets hired, and then that first column would kind of kick in, right around that March, April, May timeframe for this fiscal year.
I think we will probably have a hard time finding a director because we blew it the last time. We went through all those applications, process, met, got the top 3, then the top 1, and then we didn't hire them. So our name as a community is out there. Do not take Paris, Bourbon County seriously if you want to be a director, because they blew it the last time and you all had some good candidates. And we blew it. So why would I want to come here to be the director in an iffy situation? We haven't taken any of these things into consideration.
But if you'd hired a director, then what would you have been paying them to do all this time? I mean, I'm just throwing that.
you know.
Well, no, I mean, had we hired somebody back then, we wouldn't have had the 37,000 that we've spent this year for baseball. I mean, we could use it for the salary and they could be, for the programming and things going forward.
Well, I think
We would have had some things in place.
it's where we hold them accountable, hold them, I say us, accountable, the Parks Board accountable in terms of making sure they get hired and.
Well, I don't know the Parks Board, I mean, and not to, to talk about fiscal court, but fiscal court had 3 new members that had, and they were kind of, I won't say blindsided, but they were coming in and were kind of, this is what we're going to do. And they wanted to see the numbers and things first. And so you can't blame those 3 new members for wanting to see, new numbers before that was done.
Yes.
Do I personally, do I think we could afford next, let's say, as this thing follows through some kind of timeline or something, do I think that we could afford an additional 10,000 a month? Yeah, I think we can find it. But we've got to be sure of where our numbers are and how we arrive at it. And, and there's got to be the budget part of it. It's all about. But I think we can find $10,000 in a $40 million, or well, 10,000 a month, 120,000 out of a $40 million budget, because that's what our budget is today. In 23, it was like 20 some million, and now it's up to 40 million.
So we're in the grand scheme of things.
Yes, in the whole scheme of things, can we find the money? But what are we putting our money after? That seems like that's the question.
Where the discussion needs to continue through the Parks Board, with the county, as we move forward. The order before you, again, what the judge has indicated, to add the Millersburg Road new park property to the a portion of the interlocal agreement to that, and then move forward with the consideration that all of these things, yes, there's still a lot of unanswered questions, moving forward. So.
Well, and again, with no more funding, I'm right now, I mean, I think you can probably find it, but I don't want to, rob Peter to pay Paul to find it.
Right. So, well, we know the county's going to upfront the cost on for the baseball, at least moving forward in the near term. And then, it's going to take time for the Parks Board to, advertise, take, applications. Who knows? That might be a couple, month process, if not longer. That would have to go before the county. And then as Brad indicated, the budgets would have to come back before the city and the county.
Okay, somewhat different topic. Is it Morgan Place or Garrett Morgan Place?
I believe it's Garrett Morgan Place.
Just Morgan Place.
That's what was approved by the commission many years ago.
Okay. So the motion is to approve the municipal order, which adopts the lease and understands that the county is going to include portions of the new park in the lease, except that I'm gonna change Claysville Park to Morgan Place in both the order and the lease.
7 years this group's been together. Baseball's all been played. They're supposed to have many other things that go along with it. So when it comes to the park director on the Millersburg, is he gonna be over, he, she, whoever it is, going to be over any new activities? Or is it gonna fall back on current one? So where's the money? If the money's going on that side, do they need to go on to?
The funding would be going to the Parks Board, for the joint Parks Board, with the funding.
Okay.
And then if you're asking if the new director is going to be over.
Any new activities?
Again, that would be the program director at the discretion of the Parks Board.
So
It would be mine.
if the Parks Board wants to have square dancing and ballroom classes, the Parks Board can say, we're gonna do this. And then now how it's paid for,
Where it's gonna be
that's
located,
up to the Parks
We're gonna have to
Board.
take that out of their budget.
and it would also include the parks that are in the city, within the city limits as well, because those are in
If they
the.
wanna run the disc golf tournament at the new course, they'll be in charge of that too. The board is in charge of that, and the board can direct if
Program director.
way down the road, if a director's hired and if it's funded, then they can tell the director, have a disc golf tournament at Memorial Day.
Does that clarify, Mayor?
Okay.
About half.
Yeah.
Any further
So
discussion?
Judy, she's gonna maintain or continue on.
Can we continue? Can we
Does
continue
she
with?
won't have anything to do with any new addition or activities? Oh, that's what I'm trying to find out. We're giving these people now money, right?
Correct.
And if any additional things come along, I mean, I just wanna know, is the Middlesbrough director gonna take care of all the new activities? Is
Again,
it money worth, money we put into it?
yeah, again, that would be at the sole direction of the Parks Board. The new director, whether there's an activity up there or if there's an activity at another location, then that program director, what I understand, would be, you know, that they would be in charge of
He's
that.
speaking to the microphone.
The mayor asked if the new director was gonna be over the park, the new park solely. And again, I think that remains to be seen. I think the program director, the judge had indicated that the program director is gonna be at the, in the direction of the Parks Board. Then whatever new activity, whether it be at the new park or any other park, would go through the new program director. From what I understand.
Clarification,
Sure.
can we be careful from the fiscal court?
From the fiscal court,
Or from
from the judge.
I would be glad to. And again, I wanted to pull him aside last night and directly ask him who would those new hires answer to. I think that was brought up a couple of different times.
At this
He
point,
indicated to me.
can this
that
be
they-
tabled?
It can't be. I would think.
I move to table.
second.
So we have a motion and a second to pass the order.
This has gotten so convoluted that I don't think we can make a decision until we have what needs to be clarified, what folks need to be clarified. This has became so convoluted.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to pass the interlocal,
The municipal order.
the municipal order, excuse me.
Say that again.
We have a motion and a second to pass the interlocal as Brian had,
The municipal order.
the municipal order.
We're not changing the interlocal agreement.
Just add, please. Adding.
To update the lease and add the Millersburg Road property. Commissioner Gray has indicated he would like to move to table that motion. Is there a second? Commissioner Bruce, seconded. Is there any further discussion?
We'll talk about it.
Whenever
Later.
you like.
Baseball season, here we go baseball, but you do have to get.
Can we
that
have a special
done.
meeting with some
We don't
clarification?
meet anymore in December at all, so
Correct.
it have to be at least January.
Unless we had a special
We
meeting.
could have a special meeting. Would you like to have the county to be involved, or would you like to meet as a board?
I will meet the board.
Okay.
Get the answers to the questions. Dire, with exclamation points, that this is the answer to the questions that are folks have. We meet and discuss that and move from there. It's my personal opinion.
So questions regarding the new employees potentially,
Everything that's came up.
Finance,
finance,
maintenance.
programming, maintenance?
Programming, everything.
Do we have a motion and a second?
Well,
Any further discussion?
do we need to compare what it would, as we said, we took it back or left it over Gary Park? What would the cost be there versus what's going to be cost out there? Would that be feasible? I mean, would we have to hire another man or a person or whatever to help take care of the
I
field?
think all that would be a part of your discussion.
Okay.
If you want to go down that, if you want to entertain.
I mean,
You want to discuss?
Well, I mean, that would be, but the Parks and Rec Board, decided that there would be no baseball here at Park, so.
Okay, you already said that. Okay.
Yeah, the decision was to move it to the new location, hence adding the property to the interlocal.
Okay.
So do we vote on Tim's motion?
We have a motion and a second to table the original motion on the floor.
Okay.
If you want to go back, then we can.
Discussion now, right?
Discussion on the tabling of the motion.
But originally, to me, a lot of the questions that we have really deals mostly with Parks and Recs and, how it's being functioned and what have you. But to me, I thought all we were gonna do is say, yeah, we agree that we're gonna add 1054 Millersburg Road to the list of parks that
In there.
potential parks director will manage, and we would then adjust it through the interlocal agreement.
There's another little wrinkle here too, which is, I think you all would be more comfortable with a clarification from the county, but ultimately, it's actually the Parks and Rec Board who could direct this.
Yes.
So, if you hear something from one member of the fiscal court, that doesn't really, it's pretty persuasive as to what the Parks and Rec Board may do. You see,
Yes, this went from something simple, it's just mushroomed, and I just don't feel we can make.
Well, there's a lot of unanswered questions.
There
And
is.
you're exactly right, Commissioner, and Mr. Fields' point's well taken, everyone's point's well taken, there are a lot of unanswered questions. We had several meetings about it, however, but, and try to answer those issues of funding and programming and personnel to the best that we can, but again, going forward, we knew it was potentially gonna be more. Brian, did you have something to say?
I think what both of you two are suggesting is you want some assurance from the Parks and Rec Board that certain functions won't be prohibited. In other words, it's not we're gonna host X, Y, and Z program in Garrett Park in July, because no one can predict that. But I think what your concern is that there's gonna be some limitation on the program director as to where programs can be held. Am I understanding that right?
Close, yes.
And so it's not that something is specifically going to happen, it's just that it's not gonna be prohibited from someone.
I'm mainly concerned if we add the new park, that we really don't have them, you say we have the money, we can do it. I don't believe that. I don't think we, as the city of Paris, have the money that will help run this new park. The personnel is not in place, and all of the information that was presented at both combined meetings, for me, they were red flags. We have not had a chance to really talk about it. Apparently, the fiscal court had, because they made the presentation. But we, as a body, did not sit down and take it piece by piece and say, yeah, maybe we can find that $10,000. Yeah, maybe we can get a director. But at this point, I'm not in favor of adding the park to this agreement because there's too many unanswered questions for me. I'm just one vote. And I know you all have your opinion and some of you would like to move forward now,
No, I think,
but go ahead.
I'm with you. We've got to get together,
Yeah, we have all.
have a special meeting and get these questions answered. And that's why I moved the way I did. We've got to do business together
Well, I
and
think
get these things answered.
I think, as far as Sharon's point goes, right now, there's only one direction from the Parks and Rec Board, and that is to have baseball out of Millersburg. But as far as like the rest of the division, there's really not anything out there. And I don't know if anybody from the Parks and Rec Board could really come in here and say, within a year, we want to have like this programming in place for this community.
And to your point about the funding, which is legitimate, and again, as an administrator, as a manager, I'm all about the budgets and all about the budget. So we do need to make sure that we have a firm grasp. That's why we have a budget. Is it a matter of finding $6,000, $8,000, $10,000? Sure, but again, at the end of the day, it's budgeting, right? It's planning, and we want to make sure that obviously we have the potential liability out there, the taxpayers for, that we make sure that we are budgeting appropriately and that those funds can be accounted for. So,
The reason I want to make sure to summarize your all's is I see another meeting being scheduled, and I think Matt's going to be the one that's going to put that together. So I guess to the extent you can, you need to let Matt know what he needs to go get for you at
Yes.
the meeting, so that it's not at the meeting and the meeting's about what you need to go get, and now we're having 2 and 3 and 4 meetings.
I think that's where we've been over the last 2 months. And again, my time here has been limited, but again, the discussion is predated. Things going back and forth a few times, but I'll be glad we can schedule another meeting. We have a motion and a second to table the original motion on the floor. So, was there any further discussion with regard to that? And we can chat, or, we can, I can email you for the purposes of our discussion here today, specific questions that you want to discuss at that meeting. Please let me know. I'll be glad to follow up. Motion second, any further discussion? To table the original motion, was item 6A, the municipal order. So this is the vote to table that 6A. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Very good discussion. Thank you very much. We'll be glad to follow up, and we can reschedule a meeting. We can talk at the end of the meeting or afterwards. All right. Item 6B on the agenda, municipal order 2025-93, phase 2, part 2 of our police department revised and additional policies. Again, this was section 2, phase 2 of our police SOPs. Captain Tovine, do you have anything further to add to that? Hopefully, again, everyone received the link for the policies. We're going through a lengthy accreditation process, and this is part of that. So, Captain Tovine, do you have anything?
I don't have anything additional unless there's questions about any of the policies. Like I said, this section 2 is all of our patrol special operations policies that we're gonna have.
And reports and evidence. Just need a motion to approve.
I just have a comment. It looks like with all those policies, and there's all kinds of prefixes on them to call them PAs, and then there's another, how long does it take an officer to become acquainted with that? It's like, what what in the Sam, you know what?
Yeah, so the prefix just helped us, categorize them and number them in the year.
Well, you bring a new officer on, it looks like to me, it'd take him 6 months to a year to figure out, like Abbott and Costello, you who's on first, I don't know. Third base, it's like, what in the world?
A lot of these policies, again, these are across the board, you know, obviously they go to the criminal justice, Department of Criminal Justice
Yes.
Training.
Yes, I know.
Many of these are model ordinances by Kentucky League of Cities that's, again, uniform throughout. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, Captain and Brian. We do use a lot of the model policies of KLC, which is uniform throughout the state. And, you know, that's what we've seen.
About that.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm.
So and again, going through accreditation process, you're gonna have standard operating procedures.
I know.
Same thing for the police, the fire department, you know, so
And a lot of
a lot of it's
these,
standard.
a lot of these are exactly what you go to the academy for. And not every one of these, every officer, like some officers are gonna have the specialized training, the annuals and certain things. Not everyone does.
But ultimately, Matt, what was it we talked about? How many, over a period of time, how many different policies and things were there? This is the second version and we get,
So there's 90.
About 90.
yeah, okay, 90, okay.
And we try to break it up so that not to overwhelm you all and myself and Brian as well, because we're going to reviewing what the police department is.
No, that's fine.
For accreditation, need for
Just for the record, I'm overwhelmed already, but anyway. That,
You
that's
review it,
neither here nor there.
and we can
That's what
always bring back a further discussion, you know, if you have a particular one you want to talk about.
Move
So
to approve municipal order 2025-93.
So we had a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Commissioner Gray, second by Commissioner Galbraith. All those, are there any discussion, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Item 6C on your agenda, municipal order 2025-94, authorizing money market fund. Brad, would you like to talk about this with investment committee?
Yeah, so this kind of is something that goes along with our investment policy that was adopted towards the end of 23, first part of 24. And starting in, February 24, we started rolling some of our savings into CDs, which at that time, we were getting rates around 4% to 4.75%. Current savings was at 3.5%. Over the last year and a half, since the federal funds rates have been decreasing, we just have been seeing an overall decrease in our CD rates. So CDs, last time that we looked at, I think the best rate we could get was 3%, but really the savings rate is staying at 3.5%. So this would give us an opportunity to do some testing with Kentucky League of Cities inside their investment pool. And that's just sticking with their money market fund. And that's really, basically a money market fund is kind of like a savings account. It does have other type of investments in that, but they do try to maintain a dollar value with a potential of trying to get a higher interest rate. Right now, KLC has projections on their returns that are above 3.5%. So that's why we wanted to, once again, say open up an account and do just some small testing to see how the returns do come back on a money market fund. So this would be initially putting $250,000 into a money market fund, but then also have an authorization within, just like the general fund, if we felt good with what we were seeing, to potentially put up to $1 million into the money market fund. And then also with the utility fund side, I think we would put $500,000. Having that authorization up to $500,000. So that's what we're just kind of looking for, is to do some testing to, look at the return. We're not going to lose any value as far as principal value with the money market fund like we would with some of their other funds, like their S&P funds. We're not trying to get into any of those. We're staying very conservative. But like I said, we're just trying to see if we can get a higher rate of return than what we're getting on our savings.
So moved.
Discussion. We got a motion by Commissioner Fields, second by Commissioner Brooks. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Brad. Item 6D on your agenda, municipal order 2025-94, 95, approval of purchase and subscription for body worn cameras in the police department. Again, this is something that has been ongoing. Part of our accreditation, a part of our policies that we passed, I think the last phase one, part one, included body worn camera policy. This was a budgeted item. I understand that this past fiscal year for the police department, I think is highly favored throughout the police department. Captain Tovine, Lieutenant Boyer, would you like to comment or talk a little bit about, I guess, operationally? We went through a solicitation process, a bidding process for 3 very reputable vendors, with the selected, or at least the proposed vendor is Motorola. Is that correct?
Correct.
And I think that's rather uniform throughout law enforcement in the state.
That's what state police carries, so statewide, the cameras are deployed.
I think this is, again, I'm very much in favor of this. It's something that I've pursued and encouraged the police department during my time here to, again, being that it was budgeted and in terms of policy, in terms of procedure for police department. So I would ask, and you're welcome to discuss, but I would ask for a motion to approve.
With one small caveat, so Motorola's original bid was a total of $104,000 and change, and it's crystal clear it's a 5-year payment. It's a little over $20,000 per year. I'm not sure why what they sent in didn't say that. They just quoted the entire cost as due within 30 days. I think that was just an oversight on their part. So we can't sign what they sent us unless you're going to pay the whole $104,000 up front. So I think we can go back to them. We can get that. We can get all that fixed. I think it was just an innocent oversight. But I just wanted to be clear that that document they sent, which kind of looked like a fill in the blank to me, I don't think we're signing it.
Can we get with the vendor and make sure that we get that?
I touched base with Marty, if that document wasn't good, they said we could do a separate PO to break up the payments, and then the original invoice amount that they received was a 5-year plan. That's the invoice they're attaching to that original document. They said if there's any issues though, that we could PO it separately, or however we need to get it done and do the billing separately.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, because their bid says that there's terms and conditions of a written contract, which they call an underlying agreement, but I don't think they sent the underlying agreement.
They were using that original invoice amount that broke down in 5 years. They said that is, I guess, the underlying agreement that they go by. I had questions after Mr. Belcher had called me. That was the answers they gave me, and they said if there wasn't a continued issue that we could, whatever documentation we requested, they would provide for us.
Yeah. We'll get it fixed. And he could call me back. I just hadn't had a chance to return his call. So, but we'll get.
How about if we do this? Why don't we put, which is our pretty standard language, we'll just put into the order, and the mayor and city manager and city attorney and city clerk are directed to authorize required written documents. That's okay. It's pretty standard in a lot of our things.
Okay. With that addition, we have a motion and a second on the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
I had one quick question.
Sure.
It talks about in that contract or something, it talks about a point of contact. Who's going to be the point of contact?
I am currently the point of contact.
Okay, all right, okay.
So, yeah, Lieutenant Boyer is point of contact. He and I work, again, one-on-one. Ultimately, Interim Chief Mark Burton will make sure that, if Chief wants to add people to that or make someone else a point of contact, then we will work with him.
Who was the motion and second?
I didn't think there was either.
So moved.
Second. Motion by Commissioner Fields, second by Commissioner Brooks. I apologize. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, Stephen. I appreciate that. Item 6E on your agenda, municipal order 2025-96, approving revised job descriptions for EMS and fire department. We've had some discussion about this, Chief.
Yes, sir.
Want to talk about this?
And by the way, our policies are being worked on too.
Oh, okay, so you're coming next.
So next
Okay.
week,
All right, all right, okay.
Thank you. On our job descriptions, about a year or so ago, it's probably been 2 years, we have standardized our promotion process on what we expect people to be at going forward through the ranks. Now we're wanting, and most people has went and got it all on their own, and they're still getting it. Some even went further than what we ask, which is good, 'cause I'm never gonna stop training. Now we're asking the new people when they're hired to coming in for the same standard. So when they go through their thing, they're getting the same certifications. And hopefully, in the long term, everybody will be on the same playing field throughout the fire department, chief, down to the brand new person. So it's pretty much just making it equal from top to bottom.
I know when we talked, as far as the, firefighter national standards,
Yeah.
that we're adhering to. And Patty, I know we talked about, do you have anything you would to add maybe in terms of?
No, this is just, it just helps save money because it's gonna prevent injuries in the fire department. It's also going to help the community because we make sure that we don't drop the ball. So that's what this is all about. This is not a punitive thing. I need to stress that. Because some people are gonna feel like it is, but it's not. It's just if you can't meet these standards, then let's work with you until you can get them. You know, we can't afford to lose firefighters or paramedics or anybody from our service.
It's healthy
Yeah, but as you, what you're talking about, we're trying to implement a wellness physical thing for the fire department also. And most of them down there are for this. Most of them work out anyhow. It is just, we want to make sure kids, when they retire, are not as unhealthy as we are. So we've done a bunch of dumb stuff that I don't want them to do.
Okay.
So it's actually putting it into the job description, along with the other requirements for firefighter, EMT, paramedics.
So moved.
Second. The motion by Commissioner Brooks, second by the mayor. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thanks, John.
Thank
you all.
Thanks, Patty. I'd also like to thank Jarrell. We worked with the department
Worked hard
to
on
make sure we add them all to the job description. Brian's direction as well. All right, item 6G, excuse me, 6F, I apologize. Award bid for the electric department outage management system. This is an early notification system. We entertained a couple of vendors. We listed one in particular for this early sort of outage notification system for our customers. And Aaron has been in contact and with other communities that's had this in place, and we think it's a good program and a good jumping off point for discussion to make sure that our customers are notified if there's outages and that sort of thing due to weather events and other things. Aaron, do you want to comment further?
Yeah, I was first made aware of this program back in the spring with KYMEA and spoke to numerous other members of the KYMEA organization, a lot of other municipals who are already involved with this program. It's a guy that's over in Western Kentucky. He started this himself, is very dedicated to it, great customer service. And it's for us as a utility, but it's also for the people. It utilizes AI in responding to customers who have concerns, whether that be an electric outage or a water leak. It handles thousands of calls at once. It relieves our utility window, our dispatch, especially in an emergency situation, from having to answer and speak to people and take information down. The people themselves give us the information through the system. It's immediate notification to an on-call in our department or the water department. It also responds with a map that's utilized. It'll tell people if they are within or without our territory so that they know that they need to communicate to somebody else and not the city of Paris. With the billing as well, it's tied in to where if people have not paid their bill, they'll receive a notification on that if they try to report an outage incorrectly. So that we are not notified of that. They are advised to pay their bill so their utilities can be restored. So it handles a wide range of services for us, and including at some point, I know we're a little rushed for time. There's a lot of things on the agenda, but at some point, if you all want to go through a demonstration, it really is pretty amazing that it responds personally with friendliness, with patience, infinite patience given the situation, but quickly. And people can upload pictures so we can diagnose the problem quickly. Nicholasville, just one of the communities that put it into effect before the last ice storm earlier this year, said guaranteed probably 15 to 20% faster services because of the system. There's an upfront fee, which I've notified, or I think it may be farther down in the presentation here. I'm advising to go with the higher upfront cost of 25 initially. That's a one-time fee, but it gives you a lower monthly service rate, which pays for itself after about 5 years of use, actually less than 5 years, and then it's cheaper in that long run. It's just the things that it can do. We've gone through a pretty in-depth demonstration. Mr. Belcher and Ms. Williams over here has done it as well. It's pretty phenomenal what it will do, and the way it could free up a lot of us to just get to the job and take care of the problem rather than trying to figure out the problem.
A few weeks ago, we had the storm event, Aaron and crew were, trying to chase down where exactly on the circuit, ended up being a tree. But, had we had this in place, a customer could have, texted a picture or two, hey, here's the tree, and we could have responded potentially more quickly, so.
Well,
A lot of different
dispatch center.
pieces.
I've been to the dispatch center when some outage or something was happening, you're getting hundreds of calls. It's just, I think it's a great idea.
It stacks them up for us. It'll even, if multiple calls start coming in from a certain area, it'll say, hey, you potentially have a whole circuit here out. I mean, it really narrows a lot of stuff down for us.
Sounds good.
We identified in the current budget the funds, correct? So.
Yeah, I spoke to Brad about that. I had 25 earmarked for something else that I'm gonna let go for this year, so we can get this thing going. It's just, it helps out multiple departments, helps out with a lot of our after-hours issues. And it is a good customer service for us to provide.
How does our customers find out about it? Through our website or?
There's a link on the website that would be attached.
Okay.
It'd be sent out probably on the bills as well as a way to communicate. And then I think it can be, I recall it can be added into our automated system as an option as well to be straight into this. It'll handle telephone calls and text messages.
Any other question? We have a motion from Commissioner Gray to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by the mayor. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Aaron.
Yeah.
All right, item number 6G on your agenda, approved bid, fire department, self-contained breathing apparatus. Again, budgeted item. We have, forgive me the exact amount, but we went through a process, bid process on this. We were hoping that the grant program would be available to us for this, but all things being equal, we don't know that is available or will be available, and indicated that with the potential increase in cost come first of the year, we would ask for consideration to go forward on this. Is that?
Yes.
In a nutshell?
Has probably worked on this for a year and a half with Duffy and with myself. We did wait on the grant for a long time, and it's kind of like sitting in limbo. We are currently down to 18 packs operational. That ain't not even enough to fill our trucks up. They are going obsolete starting next year. They're phasing them out, starting with the cylinders, bottles. Most people who do it, that has our packs, don't even have them no more. This goes back to, I think, February of 25 of last year is when Dudley started this process to get these put in, and I'm pretty sure they waited for a year to see about the grant. They held the money, they moved it over. So we started the whole process again with Kendall rewriting them. We're going from a 2007 standard pack to a 2026 standard pack. So we'll be 3 standards behind coming January 1st. So we sent out the bids. They're saying they will sell the new packs coming out next year for this year's price. And if we wait, it could go up 10% more starting the first of next year. 3 or 4 years ago, you probably bought this pack and it could take you probably for $5,000. Now they're pushing $10,000.
What do you do with the old ones that are outdated?
I would say probably we'll end up surplusing them would be my guess. Now,
The old packs can still be serviceable by volunteer departments or other people. You can use them as training packs in training situations.
Okay.
They are behind the standards, but they're still usable in that environment.
Okay.
They're just not ideal in the standard and NFPA for use on the job.
Okay.
So potentially, we could surplus them and
Yes.
maybe volunteer fire departments.
Yes, sir.
They could utilize them.
we're not gonna use them once we get new ones. We'll train in the new ones because they're totally different packs.
We're going from a pack that gives us 2,216 PSI of breathing air. We're moving to a 4,500 PSI breathing air system. So it'll actually give us a higher capacity of air to work with, which makes it safer for us to time to get in and time to get out. It's just an all-over better situation of safety as far as workload goes into it. It
Just
won't
imagine
change
the
the amount
minutes.
of, it won't,
Actually got our 20-minute packs, the packs are going to our 45-minute packs.
it won't change the amount of work we can do, but it does give us a broader area to get out if something bad was to happen. It gives us more time.
Always a good thing.
The NFPA standard, I'm pretty sure Kendall can correct me on that. When you wear one, it takes you 10 minutes to get to that person or to that spot. It takes you 10 minutes to get out.
Yeah. If you have a 30-minute cylinder, it's 10 minutes to get there, 10 minutes to work, and 10 minutes to get out.
I thought 20 minutes seemed like an awful small window of time.
But it's all
We don't have a
how hard
whole-
you're working. You're not,
we don't have
that
a
20
whole lot
minutes
of
usually
time.
cuts down to 15, 10 minutes off. How hard you gotta work.
Goes fast.
Or how your heart rate's going 10,000 mile an hour.
Move to approve,
Second. Got a motion by Commissioner Gray, second by Commissioner Brooks. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, guys. Josh, if you just want to stay still. H.
Yeah, I can just take you through the last item. So in 24, I think it was 24, we had modernized the contracts upon hires for the police and the fire department, most of which is required by statute, certainly authorized by statute. So there's just a few small tweaks in this one. Deals with the pro rata reduction. It also takes the fire department contract from 2 years to 5. So that's all that it does. Very simple. Just need a motion to approve. And
What is the police?
It's 5.
5.
Yeah.
So, got a motion by Commissioner Brooks, and a second by Commissioner Galbraith. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you all very
Thank you
much.
all.
Thanks, Chief. Been busy today. Appreciate it very much. All right. Item 7 on your agenda, reports from outside agents, outside agency. See Betty in. Want to take us,
Looking very festive today.
take us off?
I have all kinds of meetings and stuff today, so I thought, well, I'll just liven up.
Everybody's smiling.
Looking good.
Allison is not here today because it's leadership Bourbon County. So she's with them till 2:30. And then after that, she will be in executive committee meeting to discuss all the good things and suggestions from the Christmas parade, and the tree lighting was very successful. I'll give you some fun facts about the tree lighting. There were 15,000 individual lights put on the tree, and the star at the top of the tree is solar lit. Littrell Brothers strung all the lights, which I thought looked really good this year. And KU came in and put the star on top, but Send Cut Send sponsored the tree. They paid for all the lights, they cut the star out. They also cut the ornaments out that made the tree skirt, and youth leadership painted all of the ornaments. So that's just some fun facts, but 15,000 is a lot. And so Allison's hoping to get another 15,000 next year. So one day it will look like New York City. So, let's see. Speaking of lights, I've had lots of people, I can't say how many, but lots of people that have complimented the downtown and how the light poles look with all the lights wrapped around them. And I thank our Mike Smith and Public Works crew for all the hard work that they do keeping downtown looking spiffy, even changing the wreath lights so that they would look better. And then me calling them and saying, I got red bows, can you all put them on the truck? And happily they came and did it, well, to me. So anyhow, I do appreciate all the people that work for the city. Let's see, our next, January 24th is the kickoff event for America 250, and it will be held at Duncan Tavern, about 2 in the afternoon. The next meeting for America 250 will be January 28th. So we'll be doing when we hold these meetings, we simply let everybody report out to what their plans are and what they will be doing and when they will be doing it. If you follow me on the Paris Downtown District, I try to keep up as best as I can on the Paris events that's pinned to the top on the list of things that are going on, but it seems like with Christmas, there's something new going on all the time. So check it out, stay on that page, look at the calendar on my website. For example, Houstondale, which is Jessica Moore's farm on Peacock Road. She also does bed and breakfast, and she's having a holiday social on the 20th. But when I was talking to her the other day, she let me know that her farm has been chosen this spring. A film company is coming in from California to film part of a movie on her farm. She doesn't know the name of it yet, don't have all the details, but you know, that's pretty exciting. So, I think that's it.
Yeah. Great.
Well, I could read you the whole list of all the things that are going on, but, you know, I think.
The parade was well attended, a lot of people in town.
Oh, yes, a lot.
It was really beautiful.
There were, at one point, I know that Allison had said there were 72 entrants. So that included a car, but floats and the bands, but I think it was more than that when it finally.
She's only 80.
Right, okay, so I knew there were more. And some of those floats were really, people put a lot of work into making that a successful parade this year. And not for monetary prizes either. So it was good.
Thank you very much, Ben. Thank you. Appreciate you very much. So, thank you. Any other, Miss Vanessa, do you have any?
I have a long list.
All right.
You might need to take a break. Okay, last Friday, Bill Albertson and I are working with some people to do a Paris Neighborhood Association website. So they wanted to see the transfer station, so we took them to the new one first. And April was there, and it's decorated. You need to go see it. She's got snowmen everywhere. It is so pretty out there with trees. April was there. She explained everything in detail about how you look at the board and how they weigh and where they're dumping and what dumpster they should put them in. Then we went out to see the recycling. She explained all of that, and they were able to take some pictures. And what the main thing that impressed me was the little caps they take off the bottles. They're gonna be making benches out of them, right, Mike?
Yeah, we'll give them someone who.
Yeah. So it was just great, and they were so impressed about all the things that April was able to tell us about when we were there. Second thing, the county is applying for a cleanup grant for the old transfer station. So we will be asking people to sign support letters to go with this grant. So all of you will be getting these. Please sign them. You can call me, I'll pick them up, or you can email them back to me. I might see you and ask you to sign it then. Last thing, our Christmas party is Sunday at the Paris Fine Arts Center. It starts at 1:00, and I'll see all of you there.
Thank you.
I'll have letters there too, if you want to sign them there.
Just, there's gonna be a public hearing for the cleanup grant. I think it's for the 18th.
18th, yes, it's
And we
6
would
o'clock.
encourage attendance. We want to make sure that public hearing is well attended.
Yeah.
And this is a process for the cleanup grant, the EPA grant that's required.
And
So,
what time is that?
18th at fiscal court from 6 to 8, I want to say.
I don't know, is it?
It's at 6 o'clock. I should be getting something from the judge soon, of which.
I think I saw the
I'm gonna do an
announcement.
email blast.
I thought that this next court meeting was the 17th.
It is, but I just think they were gonna do it on the same day as the physical court meeting.
Yeah.
No, they're doing it the next.
What I saw was the 18th.
That's what I saw. That's what I was told.
6 to 7.
That's what Bill
Yeah.
said.
Yes.
Text on.
Yes.
It's September 18th. but
So as soon as I
He
get that,
did, and I fired it back.
Yeah, I did too.
But we would encourage that as that process is ongoing for the cleanup grant.
yeah, I'm waiting to get something from the judge so I can email it up.
Thank you.
Thank you for this.
Any other outside issues? Sheriff, do you have anything?
I do not. Thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Absolutely. City staff, anything from staff? I know we're into a busy season. We've had 2 weather events.
So yesterday's weather event wasn't nothing major, it was very minor. We barely used any salt, but Thursday, Kyle Baldwin, Brandon Brown, and Joe Willoughby, they'll go to Shelbyville to graduate through the Road Scholars, Road Masters program. It's a pretty good thing that the city does, and, but they get to graduate. Kyle graduates as a Road Master, he took the Road Scholars, and the other 2 guys will graduate from this, move to the Road Masters. The rest of the team will be taking the Road Scholars next year. You learn a lot in there that you didn't know, and it keeps you up to date on what the state requires, what the federal government requires, and all that, so it's a really good thing to see them graduate from.
Yeah, I echo that. It's a very intensive program. And we're proud that they're graduating. The mayor and I are going to be at the graduation ceremony there in Shelbyville. So, very proud of those guys.
I think Chad raised his hand back there.
Chad, did you have
So
anything?
we're entering into the final phase of this project. The high service pumps are gonna start going in, the next week or so. I think that we're wrapping up the e-house. We're still missing a couple of VFDs. I think they're due Monday. And they're all water pumps. Probably will start going in sometime around January, February. And that should be about the end.
And then the chemical tank is going to be on site, or soon to be delivered.
It's gonna be delivered real high, 15th. That is on schedule.
This was the emergency replacement. It was, the tank that was damaged or failed, and then we had to replace. Any other, comments from city staff? I appreciate you all very much. Again, we're going into a busy time of year, busy season, wonderful season, but, again, doesn't slow down for our city staff, so appreciate them all very much. Mike had mentioned one of the 2 things that I wanted to raise in the Road Scholar graduates, and I think we mentioned earlier, or someone had mentioned I'd encourage you all to attend the city employee breakfast on the 19th at the Catholic Church. Was it 7 to 11, Marissa?
No, it's 8 to 11.
Or excuse me, 8 to 11.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
eat at 8.
Eat at 8, okay, all right. We got to show up early though. But we would encourage certainly city staff and the commission, certainly welcome. Mayor, do you have anything?
Nope.
Commissioner Brooks?
I've said too much already.
No, you, listen. As much as you want, we got all day, so.
He's supposed to hold me back when he does.
We're gonna have another meeting,
Okay.
so you have an opportunity to talk more, so go
I don't
ahead.
have anything.
Commissioner Galbraith?
I don't have anything. If nobody else has anything, I move to adjourn.
Nothing. Second. Nothing. All right, got we got a motion to adjourn with Commissioner Galbraith, second, Commissioner Gray. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you all.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.